Asterisk, asterisk. A broke nurse helped a man in rags, unaware he's a disguised millionaire, and show up to propose later. Asterisk, asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's get started with the story. It was an ordinary day, just like any other, or at least that's what Emma thought. Emma Turner was a nurse, and life had not been kind to her lately. At 25, she was juggling multiple jobs just to pay the rent, and every day felt like a struggle. Her small apartment was cluttered with the weight of bills, and she often found herself awake at night, staring at the cracked ceiling, wondering how she would make it through the next week. She had always dreamed of a better life, one filled with opportunities, but those dreams felt as distant as the stars. Today was different, though. She had finished her night shift at the clinic and was on her way home when she noticed him. A man, clearly out of place, standing at the bus stop. His clothes were ragged, and his face was lined with exhaustion. He shivered in the cold, clutching a worn-out coat tightly around him. Emma, despite her own struggles, couldn't ignore the sight. She was exhausted, hungry, and ready to collapse, but something in her heart told her to help. Without thinking, she approached the man, offering him the last of her change. "Hey, are you all right?" she asked, her voice soft with concern. The man looked at her, his eyes filled with gratitude. "I've lost everything," he said, his voice hoarse. "I'm just trying to get back home, but I don't have enough for a bus ticket." Emma hesitated for a moment. She had barely enough to make it through the week herself, but something inside her pushed her to help. "Here, take this," she said, pressing the last $10 she had into his hands. "It's all I've got, but it's yours." The man stared at the money for a moment, then looked up at her, his eyes filled with disbelief. "Thank you. I don't know what to say," he muttered, his voice thick with emotion. Emma simply smiled and nodded, turning to walk away, but not before hearing the man whisper, "You're a good person." She didn't think much of it at the time. She had helped someone in need, and that was all that mattered. Little did she know, her small act of kindness would change her life forever. That night, after returning to her apartment, Emma collapsed into bed, too tired to even think about the stranger. But what she didn't know was that the man she had helped was no ordinary man. The man in rags was, in fact, a millionaire, disguised to test the kindness of strangers. He was Grant Carter, the CEO of a major tech company, and he had seen something in Emma that he hadn't seen in years: genuine kindness. What happened next would leave Emma speechless, and her life would never be the same again. Asterisk, asterisk. A broke nurse helped a man in rags, unaware he's a disguised millionaire in show, up to propose later. Asterisk, asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's get back into the story. The next few days passed in a blur for Emma. She went to work, came home, and fought to keep her head above water. But something lingered in her mind, something about the man she had helped. She couldn't stop thinking about his grateful eyes and the way he had looked at her, as if she had given him more than just money. She told herself it was nothing, just another good deed that would fade away like the others. But the truth was, she hadn't felt this kind of connection in years. That Thursday, just after her shift ended, Emma stopped at a local diner for some food. The fluorescent lights buzzed above her as she slid into a booth by the window, watching the rain tap against the glass. She needed a moment of peace. As she stirred her coffee, a voice interrupted her thoughts. "Mind if I join you?" Emma looked up, startled. It was him, the man in rags. But now, he was standing before her in a tailored suit, looking nothing like the person she had helped just days before. Her eyes widened in disbelief. "You," she stammered. He smiled, a little sheepishly. I know. This must be a surprise. I'm Grant Carter, he said, offering his hand. I'm sure you don't recognize me, but I wanted to thank you for your kindness. Emma took his hand, her mind racing. You're, she started, but she couldn't finish her sentence. How could he be the same person? Grant Carter. The name sounded familiar, but she couldn't place it. I'm not here to make you feel uncomfortable, Grant continued, sensing her confusion. I just wanted to explain. I wasn't entirely honest when we met. I wasn't a man down on his luck. I'm actually a CEO, and I was testing something. I've seen a lot of people in my life, but I've never met anyone as genuine as you. Emma blinked, still processing. The man she had helped wasn't just some stranger. He was a millionaire, a businessman, and she had given him the last of her money. She felt a rush of emotions, embarrassment, confusion, and a strange sense of disbelief. I didn't know, she said, her voice shaky. I just wanted to help. And you did, Grant said softly, his gaze never leaving hers. That's why I'm here. I want to offer you something. A chance. A chance to do more than just survive. Emma felt her heart skip a beat. What was he talking about? What do you mean? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Grant leaned forward slightly. I know you've been struggling. I want to offer you a position at my company, something meaningful. I believe you could make a difference, not just in your life, but in the lives of others. Emma stared at him, her mind reeling. Was he serious? A job offer from a CEO? It felt unreal. I don't know what to say, she finally managed to whisper. You don't have to say anything yet, Grant replied. Take your time. But I want you to know, this isn't just about giving you a job. It's about giving you the opportunity to thrive. You've shown me something rare, Emma. I want to help you find your own success. Emma looked at him, overwhelmed by his words. She had spent so much of her life fighting to stay afloat, and now, here was a man offering her a chance at something she had never imagined. She didn't know what the future held, but for the first time in a long while, she felt hope. And maybe, just maybe, that was the greatest gift he could have given her. Asterisk. A broke nurse helped a man in rags. Unaware. He's a disguised millionaire and show up to propose later. Asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's continue with Emma's story. Emma had never been one to get her hopes up, but after that meeting with Grant, something inside her began to shift. She hadn't expected to hear from him so soon, but just a few days later, she received a call from his assistant, Claire. Miss Turner. Claire's voice was professional but warm. Mr. Carter would like to meet with you again. He's invited you to his office. Are you available? Emma's heart skipped a beat. She had never imagined that a single act of kindness would lead to something like this. Her mind raced. Could this really be happening? She had been skeptical about Grant's offer, but now she wasn't so sure. Yes, I can meet him, Emma replied, her voice steady, though her nerves were anything but. The meeting was set for the following day. The next morning, Emma arrived at Carter Enterprises, a sleek and modern building that towered over the city skyline. She felt out of place as she walked through the revolving doors, her simple dress and worn shoes in stark contrast to the polished executives around her. But as she walked toward the elevators, her thoughts were consumed with one question. What was Grant expecting from her? When she reached the top floor, she was greeted by a receptionist who led her to a spacious conference room. Grant was already there, waiting for her. He stood as she entered, a warm smile spreading across his face. Emma, it's good to see you again, he said, his voice calm and confident. I hope you didn't find the building too intimidating. Emma chuckled nervously. It's a little overwhelming, but I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me here. Grant motioned for her to sit down across from him. I'm glad you could make it. I wanted to talk to you about something important. I've been thinking about our conversation, and I believe you're exactly the kind of person we need at Carter Enterprises. I want to offer you a position at the company, not just any position, but one where you can make a real impact. Emma blinked, shocked. You You're serious? Grant nodded. Absolutely. I know it's unexpected, but I've seen the way you carry yourself, the way you care for others. That's the kind of quality we need here. But it's more than just a job. I want to give you a chance to change your life, to have the opportunities you've always dreamed of. Emma's mind raced as she tried to process his words. This wasn't just a job offer. This was a chance to completely change her future. But could she really accept something so big? What would her life look like if she said yes? I don't know what to say, she whispered. This is all so sudden. Grant smiled gently. You don't have to decide right now. Take your time. But I want you to know, this opportunity could change everything for you. You don't have to keep struggling. You've already proven your worth to me. Emma sat back in her chair, her heart pounding. She had been scraping by for so long, just trying to make ends meet. And now, here she was, being offered a chance to work at a major corporation, to step into a world she never thought she would be a part of. Could she really do this? Could she really change her life? After a long pause, she took a deep breath and looked at Grant. I'll accept, she said, her voice firm. I'm ready for this. Grant's eyes lit up, and he extended his hand. Welcome aboard, Emma. I'm looking forward to seeing everything you'll achieve here. As they shook hands, Emma felt a rush of emotions. This was the start of something new, something big. She had no idea where this journey would take her. But for the first time in a long time, she felt hopeful. Little did she know, this was only the beginning of a life-altering transformation. Asterisk, a broke nurse, helped a man in rags, unaware. He's a disguised millionaire in show, up to propose later. Asterisk. Hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive back into Emma's journey. The first few weeks at Carter Enterprises were overwhelming for Emma. She had never imagined herself working in such a high-powered environment. The office was sleek, filled with glass walls and polished floors. The employees moved with an air of confidence that made Emma feel like an outsider, but she was determined to prove herself. Despite her doubts, she threw herself into the work. Grant had given her a project to oversee, a community outreach program that aimed to provide medical assistance to underserved neighborhoods. Emma poured her heart and soul into it, determined to make a difference. Her colleagues, however, were not as welcoming as she had hoped. Some of them treated her like an outsider, whispering behind her back about her unconventional path to the company. Emma could feel their eyes on her, judging her every move. The pressure mounted as she worked late into the night, pushing through the discomfort and loneliness. But then, one evening, after a particularly grueling day, Grant came to her office. You're doing great work, Emma, he said, his voice sincere. But I can see how hard you're pushing yourself. You need to take care of yourself, too. Emma looked up at him, surprised by his concern. She had always been the type to sacrifice her own well-being for the sake of others. I'm fine, she said quickly, not wanting to appear weak. But Grant smiled softly, walking over to her desk. I know you're used to doing everything on your own, but you don't have to anymore. You've earned this opportunity, Emma. Don't let the pressure weigh you down. His words hit her harder than she expected. For the first time in a long time, someone had seen her struggle and acknowledged it. It was a reminder that she didn't have to fight alone anymore. The next few days were a turning point for Emma. She started to take better care of herself, balancing the demands of her job with moments of rest. She found herself growing more comfortable in the office, more confident in her abilities. It wasn't easy, but it was progress. As the weeks passed, Grant continued to check in on her, offering words of encouragement whenever she needed them. But one day, just as things seemed to be settling down, Emma received a call that would change everything. Emma, it's Claire, the voice on the other end of the line said. Mr. Carter wants to meet with you. It's urgent. Emma's stomach dropped. She had no idea what it was about, but she knew it couldn't be good. She quickly made her way to Grant's office, her heart racing in her chest. When she entered, Grant was standing by the window, looking out at the city. He turned as she entered, his face serious. "Emma, I need to tell you something," he began. "There's a lot going on behind the scenes at the company, and I've been trying to protect you from it, but I can't keep you in the dark any longer." Emma felt a knot tighten in her stomach. What was going on? "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Grant walked over to her, his expression softening. "There are people in the company who are not happy with the changes I've been making. They don't think you belong here, Emma, and they're trying to push you out." Emma's heart sank. She had known that some people had been skeptical of her, but hearing it from Grant made it all feel so real. "But why?" "I've been working so hard," she trailed off, feeling the weight of it all. Grant took a deep breath, his voice steady. "Because you're not like them, Emma. You come from a different world, and some of them can't handle that. But I want you to know, I'm behind you. I won't let anyone push you out." Emma looked at him, feeling a wave of gratitude wash over her. For all the challenges she had faced, she had someone in her corner. She wasn't alone. "Thank you," she whispered. Grant smiled, his gaze softening. "You've earned your place here, Emma. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." With his words of reassurance, Emma felt a renewed sense of determination. She knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but she was ready to face whatever came next. Little did she know, the challenges she was about to face would push her to her limits and test her strength in ways she could never have imagined. Asterisk. A broke nurse helped a man in rags, unaware he's a disguised millionaire and show up to propose later. Asterisk. Hello, everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's continue with Emma's story. Emma was doing her best to hold her ground at Carter Enterprises. The whispers from her colleagues had slowed down, but she could still feel the weight of their judgment hanging over her. She continued to work tirelessly, not only on her project but on proving to herself that she deserved to be there. But despite the growing sense of accomplishment, Emma could feel something shifting in her relationship with Grant. He had been supportive, but something about the way he looked at her had changed. She noticed it in the little things, the way he would linger a little too long during their conversations, the way his gaze would soften when she spoke. Emma tried to push those thoughts aside, telling herself it was just her imagination. After all, Grant was her boss, and she had no place thinking of him that way. One afternoon, Emma was working late, going through the reports for the outreach program, when she received a text from Grant. "I'd like to take you to dinner tonight. It's been a while since we talked outside of the office. Let's catch up." Emma stared at the message for a long moment. Dinner? Was this a business dinner, or was it something more? She couldn't be sure, but she felt a knot of anticipation in her stomach. She agreed, and a few hours later, she found herself standing in front of a fancy restaurant, nervously adjusting her jacket. When she walked inside, she saw Grant already sitting at a corner table, his usual confident demeanor in place. He looked up as she entered and smiled. "You look beautiful," he said, his voice warm. Emma's heart skipped a beat, but she quickly pushed the fluttering feeling aside. "Thank you," she said, taking a seat across from him. As the evening went on, their conversation flowed easily. They talked about everything: work, life outside the office, even their childhoods. Emma found herself laughing more than she had in a long time, feeling a connection with him she hadn't expected. But there was something else, something she couldn't ignore. The chemistry between them was undeniable. Every time their hands brushed as they reached for the same glass, Emma felt a spark. It was as if the world had faded away, leaving just the two of them in that moment. As the night wore on, Grant's gaze grew more intense. "Emma," he said quietly, "I want you to know something. You've made a bigger impact on this company than you realize. I see something in you, something real, and I've been thinking about you a lot lately." Emma's heart raced. Was he saying what she thought he was saying? "Grant," she began. But he stopped her with a gentle gesture. "I know this might be unexpected, but I need to be honest with you. he said, his voice soft but firm. "I care about you, Emma. Not just as a colleague, but as something more." Emma felt her breath catch in her throat. She had never expected this, never imagined that someone like Grant Carter, the powerful CEO, could feel the same way she did. I don't know what to say," she whispered. Grant smiled, his eyes searching hers. "You don't have to say anything right now. I just needed you to know how I feel." The rest of the evening passed in a blur. Emma's mind was racing, her emotions all over the place. She had always been focused on her career, never allowing herself to think about love. But now, here she was, sitting across from a man who not only cared for her, but had opened her eyes to a future she never thought possible. As they left the restaurant, Grant turned to her. "I'll be here when you're ready to talk," he said, his voice tender. Emma nodded, her heart pounding. She had a lot to think about, but for the first time in a long time, she felt like anything was possible. She had come so far since that fateful day when she helped a man in rags, and now, her life was about to change in ways she couldn't yet understand. Asterisk. A broke nurse helped a man, in rags, unaware. He's a disguised millionaire and show up to propose later. Asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's continue with Emma's journey. Over the next few weeks, Emma found herself constantly thinking about Grant and the night they shared. The words he had said echoed in her mind, and she couldn't help but wonder what this could mean for her life. Was it just a fleeting moment, or was there something real between them? She hadn't expected this to happen. Her life had always been about surviving, about getting through the next day, and now, for the first time, she was faced with a future that seemed full of possibilities. At work, things were going better than she had hoped. Her community outreach project was gaining traction, and more people were getting involved. Emma was starting to feel like she was making a real difference. But despite her progress, she couldn't shake the feeling of being caught between two worlds, the world of the successful, polished employees at Carter Enterprises and the world she had come from, where every day had been a struggle. It was during one of her late-night office sessions when she received an unexpected knock on the door. She looked up to see Grant standing in the doorway, his expression unreadable. "Got a minute?" he asked, his voice gentle. Emma nodded, surprised to see him at this hour. "Of course. What's going on?" Grant stepped into the room and closed the door behind him. He stood there for a moment, as if searching for the right words. "I've been thinking a lot about what I said the other night," he began, "and I realize that I haven't given you enough time to process it. I don't want you to feel pressured by me or by anything that's happened." Emma blinked, unsure of what he meant. She started, but Grant raised his hand to stop her. "No, Emma," he said, his voice softer now. "I care about you, and I want you to be happy. But I also understand that you have your own life, your own dreams. I don't want to complicate that. If you're not ready for something more than just work, I'll respect that. I just wanted you to know how I feel." His words hit Emma harder than she expected. She had been so focused on her own insecurities, on trying to fit into a world that felt foreign to her, that she hadn't stopped to think about what she truly wanted. Looking at Grant, she saw someone who genuinely cared for her, someone who wasn't just offering her a career but was offering her a chance at something more. She took a deep breath, her heart racing. "Grant, I don't know what to say," she admitted, feeling vulnerable. "I've never really thought about this before. I've been so focused on surviving, on just getting by, that I haven't allowed myself to think about what I really want." Grant took a step closer, his eyes soft and understanding. "I get it, Emma. You've had to fight for everything you've got. I admire that about you. But you don't have to do it alone anymore. You don't have to fight this battle by yourself." Emma felt her throat tighten. She had spent so long pushing people away, telling herself that she didn't deserve anything more than what she had. But standing here now, with Grant, something shifted inside her. She realized that she didn't have to fight alone. Maybe, just maybe, she could let someone in. "I don't know what the future holds," Emma said slowly, her voice trembling. "But I'm willing to try. I'm willing to see where this could go." Grant's face lit up, a smile spreading across his face. He took her hand, and for the first time in a long time, Emma felt like she was finally starting to move forward. "That's all I needed to hear," he said quietly. "You don't have to have all the answers right now. Just know that I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere." As Emma looked at him, a sense of peace settled over her. She didn't know where this journey would take her, but for the first time, she felt like she was on the right path. And maybe, just maybe, this was the start of something beautiful. Asterisk, asterisk. A broke nurse helped a man in rags, unaware. He's a disguised millionaire and show, up to propose. Later, asterisk, asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's continue with Emma's story. Over the next few days, things between Emma and Grant felt different. There was a certain ease between them now, a bond that had grown not only through work but also through shared moments of vulnerability. Emma had opened up to Grant in ways she hadn't expected, and he had done the same, sharing parts of his life that were usually kept hidden behind the corporate mask he wore. As their relationship grew, Emma felt herself becoming more comfortable, not only in her work but in her own skin. She no longer felt like an outsider in the office. She was gaining the respect of her colleagues, and they were starting to see her for the capable woman she was, not just the nurse who stumbled into the corporate world. One afternoon, Emma was working on a project proposal when Claire, Grant's assistant, walked into her office. "Mr. Carter would like to see you in his office," Claire said with a smile, her voice calm as usual. Emma's heart skipped a beat. She hadn't expected to hear from Grant today. "Is everything okay?" Emma asked, a hint of nervousness creeping into her voice. Claire's smile grew slightly wider. "Everything is fine. He just wants to talk to you about something." Emma nodded, trying to calm her nerves as she stood up and walked to Grant's office. When she arrived, she found the door slightly ajar. She knocked softly before entering. Grant looked up from his desk and smiled warmly. "Come in, Emma. Please, take a seat." Emma walked in, feeling her heart race. She had no idea what this meeting was about. As she sat down, Grant placed a file on the desk in front of her. "I've been reviewing your work," he began, "and I have to say, I'm impressed. The outreach program is going incredibly well. You've made a real impact, Emma." Emma felt a surge of pride at his words. "Thank you," she said, feeling a bit bashful. "I've really been putting everything into it." Grant smiled at her, his eyes softening. "I can see that, and I want to offer you something, a bigger role. You've shown that you have what it takes to lead, and I want to give you the opportunity to do just that." Emma blinked in surprise. "A bigger role?" she repeated, unsure if she was hearing him correctly. "Yes," Grant said, nodding. "I want to offer you a promotion to head the entire community outreach division. I think you're more than capable, and I believe in your vision. You've already proven yourself here, Emma. This is your chance to lead, to really make a difference on a larger scale." Emma's mind raced. This was the opportunity she had been waiting for, but it also felt like a huge leap. "I don't know what to say," she said, her voice a little shaky. Grant smiled reassuringly. "You don't have to decide right away. Take your time. I just wanted to give you the chance." Emma sat back in her chair, trying to process the weight of what he was offering her. She had always been the one to struggle, to fight for every opportunity, and now here she was, being offered something that many would dream of. She had worked so hard to prove herself, but this was different. This was more than she had ever hoped for. "Thank you, Grant," she said quietly, her voice filled with emotion. "I'm honored." Grant nodded, his smile widening. "You've earned it, Emma. I'm proud of you." As Emma walked out of his office, the weight of his words began to settle in. She had just been offered the chance to lead, to take her career to heights she had never imagined. It was both exhilarating and terrifying, but for the first time, she felt like she truly belonged. Little did she know, this promotion would open up more doors than she could ever anticipate, and it would also lead her down a path that would challenge everything she thought she knew about herself and about the man who had become so important to her. Asterisk, asterisk. A broke nurse helped a man in rags, unaware he's a disguised millionaire and show up to propose later. Asterisk, asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's continue with Emma's story. The weeks that followed her promotion were both exhilarating and exhausting. Emma's role in the Community Outreach Division at Carter Enterprises gave her a sense of purpose she had never known. She was no longer just surviving from paycheck to paycheck, she was making a difference, leading projects that impacted people's lives in meaningful ways. She worked long hours, sometimes late into the night, but the work felt rewarding. However, despite her growing success, Emma still couldn't shake the nagging feeling of being an outsider. The higher she climbed within the company, the more she realized how different her background was from the others. The other executives, the high-powered professionals she now rubbed shoulders with, had lived lives of privilege. They didn't know what it was like to struggle, to worry about bills, or to work multiple jobs just to make ends meet. And yet, here she was, working alongside them, trying to prove she belonged. But even as those feelings of doubt lingered, she had something she had never had before: Grant's support. Grant had been her pillar through it all. He had been there when she doubted herself, when she felt overwhelmed by the pressure of her new role. And despite the undeniable chemistry between them, Emma couldn't ignore the growing complexity of their relationship. She wasn't sure if they were simply colleagues, or if there was something deeper between them. One evening, after a particularly stressful day at work, Emma found herself alone in her office, trying to wrap her head around a new project that had hit a roadblock. She was so focused on her work that she didn't notice Grant standing in the doorway until he spoke. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, his voice soft but reassuring. Emma looked up and smiled, her heart skipping a beat. "Of course. Come in," she said, gesturing to the chair beside her desk. Grant walked in and closed the door behind him. "You've been working late again," he said with a slight smile, his tone filled with concern. "You know, you don't have to do everything on your own." Emma chuckled, though it sounded more like a sigh. "I know. It's just, there's always so much to do, and I don't want to let anyone down. Not after everything you've done for me." Grant took a seat beside her, his expression serious now. "Emma, you've more than earned your place here. Don't let the weight of the world fall on your shoulders. We're a team. And I'm not just talking about work." The last part of his sentence hung in the air between them. Emma could feel the tension building in the room, the unspoken words that neither of them had dared to say. For a moment, they simply looked at each other, their eyes locking in a way that made Emma's heart race. "Grant," Emma began, her voice barely above a whisper, "what are we doing here? I mean, I don't know where this is going. I don't want to complicate things, especially with work, but I can't ignore how I feel anymore." Grant reached out and gently took her hand in his touch warm and comforting. "I know," he said quietly. "I feel the same way, Emma. But I also know how complicated things can get. I don't want to put any pressure on you. I want you to know that I care, and no matter what happens, I'm here for you, both in work and outside of it." Emma's heart swelled with emotion, and she couldn't help but squeeze his hand in return. She had spent so long feeling like an outsider, unsure of where she truly fit. But here, in this moment, with Grant, she felt like she had finally found someone who understood her. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. Grant smiled, his thumb gently brushing the back of her hand. "You don't need to thank me. We're in this together." As they sat there, the weight of their unspoken feelings hanging in the air, Emma realized that no matter how complicated their situation might seem, she wasn't alone. Grant had proven time and time again that he cared for her, and she couldn't deny the connection they shared. The road ahead would undoubtedly be difficult, but for the first time in a long while, Emma felt ready to face whatever came next. She wasn't just surviving anymore, she was living, truly living, and she was doing it with someone who cared. Asterisk, asterisk. A broke nurse helped a man in rags, unaware. He's a disguised millionaire in show, up to propose later. Asterisk, asterisk. Hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's continue with Emma's journey. As the days passed, Emma began to feel the weight of the pressure building around her. She had accepted Grant's offer, and her new role in the community outreach division was taking up more of her time than she had anticipated. While her work was fulfilling, it left little room for anything else, especially when it came to her growing relationship with Grant. They continued to spend time together, but their interactions were often brief, squeezed between their busy schedules. Emma could see that Grant was struggling with the same challenge, balancing his responsibilities as the CEO of a major company and his feelings for her. They had both been careful, not wanting to rush anything, but the tension between them was palpable. One afternoon, as Emma was working late in her office, Claire, Grant's assistant, walked in with a serious expression. "Emma, Mr. Carter needs to speak with you. It's urgent," she said. Emma's stomach tightened. She had been so caught up in her work that she hadn't realized something might be wrong. "Is everything okay?" she asked, standing up quickly. Claire nodded. "He just wants to discuss something important. Please follow me." Emma followed Claire to Grant's office, her mind racing with possibilities. When they arrived, Claire knocked before opening the door. Grant was standing by the window, staring out at the city. He turned as Emma entered, his face serious. "Emma," he began, his voice calm but tense. "I've been trying to protect you from this, but I can't anymore. There are rumors, and they're starting to spread. People at the company, some of the board members are questioning my judgment. They think I've been too lenient with you, too biased." Emma felt her heart race, but she stayed calm, trying to process his words. "What do you mean?" she asked. "They're questioning our relationship," Grant said, his gaze meeting hers. "They think I'm letting my personal feelings influence my decisions. They don't think you belong here, Emma, and they're pushing to have you removed from the outreach program, possibly even from the company." Emma's chest tightened. She had worked so hard to prove herself, and now, just as she was starting to feel like she belonged, it was all being threatened. "But why? I've worked harder than anyone here. I've earned my place." Grant stepped toward her, his expression softening. "I know that, and I've tried to make them see that. But these people, they don't understand. They don't see you the way I do." Emma felt a surge of frustration and hurt. "So what happens now?" she asked, her voice shaky. "I won't let them win," Grant said firmly. "I'm going to fight for you, for everything you've earned. I'm not going to let them push you out, Emma. But I need you to know that it's going to be difficult. They're going to make this harder than it needs to be." Emma took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "What can I do?" she asked, determined not to give up. "Just keep doing what you've been doing," Grant said. "You're already making a difference, and they can't take that away from you. But if you're ready, I'll back you up every step of the way. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure you stay here, where you belong." His words were a lifeline in the storm of uncertainty that surrounded her. Emma looked at him, feeling both grateful and overwhelmed. She didn't know what the future held, but for the first time, she felt like she had someone on her side. "Thank you," she whispered. Grant nodded, his eyes soft. "You don't have to thank me, Emma. I believe in you." As Emma left Grant's office that evening, her mind was filled with the weight of the situation. She knew the battle wasn't over, but she also knew that she wasn't alone. With Grant by her side, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. And as difficult as it was to navigate this new world, Emma was determined to show everyone that she belonged. The road ahead would be hard, but she had come this far, and she wasn't going to stop now. Asterisk, asterisk. A broke nurse helped a man in rags, unaware he's a disguised millionaire in show up to propose later. Asterisk, asterisk. Hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's continue with Emma's story. The weeks following Grant's assurance were filled with mounting tension. Emma threw herself into her work, determined to prove everyone wrong and show her worth. The community outreach program she had spearheaded began to flourish, and the positive feedback from the community made her feel like her hard work was finally paying off. But despite the success of the program, the shadow of the rumors continued to loom over her. As the pressure to succeed increased, so did the tension in the office. Emma could feel the eyes of her colleagues on her more than ever, and she couldn't shake the feeling that every move she made was being scrutinized. It was as though the walls were closing in. Despite her growing success, the atmosphere around her had become increasingly toxic. The whispers in the halls grew louder, and Emma had become the center of office gossip. Some employees resented her for the attention she had received, while others questioned her qualifications, constantly wondering how someone like her had ended up in a position of power. Emma tried to block out the negativity and focus on her work, but it was difficult. The emotional toll of the constant scrutiny was wearing her down. She found herself growing more and more frustrated, questioning her ability to navigate this new world she had stepped into. One afternoon, after a particularly grueling meeting, Emma was walking back to her office when she saw Grant standing by the elevator, talking to a few of the higher-ups in the company. As she approached, she overheard bits of their conversation. "I don't know how long we can keep her around," one of the executives said. "She doesn't belong here. She's too inexperienced, too different." Emma's heart sank as she heard the words. She had known that the rumors were circulating, but hearing them spoken aloud hit harder than she had anticipated. She felt a lump form in her throat, but she quickly forced herself to stay composed. She wasn't going to let them see how much it hurt. Grant caught her eye just as the conversation ended. He gave her a small nod, but Emma could tell from his expression that he was aware of the tension in the room. After the meeting, he asked to speak with her privately. "Emma, I know what you overheard," he began, his voice gentle but firm. "But I need you to understand something. You're more than qualified for this role. These people, they're threatened by you. They see the changes you're making, and they're afraid." Emma looked at him, her eyes filled with frustration. "I don't know if I can keep doing this, Grant. Every day feels like a battle. I'm constantly fighting to prove myself, to show that I belong. And every time I think I'm getting somewhere, something else comes up." Grant stepped closer, his presence comforting. "I know it's hard," he said softly, "but you've come so far. You've proven yourself time and time again. Don't let their doubts get to you. You're here because you earned it, and you're making a difference." Emma took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. She had been so focused on fitting in, on proving herself, that she had lost sight of why she was here in the first place. She was here to make a difference, and she wasn't going to let anyone take that away from her. "I just don't want to fail," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've worked so hard to get here, and I don't know if I can keep fighting." Grant placed a hand on her shoulder, looking at her with understanding. "You don't have to fight alone. I'm here, Emma, and I'm not going anywhere." Emma nodded, feeling the weight of his words. For the first time in a long time, she felt a sense of calm wash over her. She wasn't alone in this battle, and with Grant's support, she could face whatever came next. The path ahead was still uncertain, but Emma was ready to stand tall and continue fighting for what she believed in. The road to success was never easy, but Emma had learned that with determination, resilience, and the support of those who truly cared for her, she could overcome anything. Asterisk. A broke nurse helped a man in rags. Unaware he's a disguised millionaire and show up to propose. Later, asterisk. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's continue with Emma's story. The weeks following the intense conversation with Grant were full of both progress and setbacks for Emma. She continued to push forward in her role at Carter Enterprises, but the whispers in the office never truly stopped. It was hard not to feel the judgment of her colleagues, who still questioned her place in the corporate world. Yet, Emma kept her head high. She focused on the results, the success of her outreach programs, the way her work was positively impacting the communities they served. Slowly, but surely, Emma began to gain more respect from some of the other staff members. But no matter how hard she worked, there were still those who didn't believe in her. They viewed her as an outsider, someone who didn't belong in the high-powered world of Carter Enterprises. As the pressure mounted, Emma found herself growing increasingly frustrated. She had always been the person who fought through every challenge, but the weight of the corporate politics, the constant scrutiny, and the isolation were starting to take their toll. One evening, as she was sitting at her desk, trying to make sense of the latest project proposal, she received a call from Grant. "Emma, I need to see you in my office. It's important," he said. His tone was unusually serious. Emma's heart sank. She knew that with all the tension surrounding her at the company, this conversation was not going to be easy. She took a deep breath, collected her thoughts, and made her way to Grant's office. As she entered, she could tell by the expression on his face that something was wrong. He was sitting at his desk, papers scattered in front of him, looking more tired than usual. "Emma, please, sit down," he said softly, gesturing to the chair across from him. She sat down, her nerves tightening. "What's going on, Grant?" she asked, her voice shaky. Grant leaned forward, looking at her with a mixture of concern and determination. "I've been hearing rumors about you. There are people in the company who are starting to challenge your position here. Some of them are questioning whether you really belong in this role, and others think you've only been promoted because of your relationship with me." Emma felt a knot form in her stomach. She had known the gossip would come, but hearing it out loud made it feel all the more real. "Grant, I didn't ask for any of this," she said quietly, trying to steady her emotions. "I didn't ask to be treated like an outsider, to have people question whether I deserve this position. I've worked harder than anyone here to prove myself." Grant reached across the desk and took her hand in his. "I know you have, Emma, and that's exactly why I'm not going to let them push you out. I won't let them make you feel small. You've earned your place here, and I've got your back. But you need to know that it's not going to be easy. The higher you go, the more resistance you'll face. People are afraid of change, and they're scared of what you represent." Emma took a deep breath, the weight of his words sinking in. She had always known that the road to success wouldn't be easy, but she hadn't anticipated how much it would cost her emotionally. "What should I do?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Grant's eyes softened. "You keep doing what you're doing. You keep proving them wrong. Don't let their doubt become your doubt. You are more than capable, and I'll make sure they see that. You belong here, Emma. Don't ever forget that." Emma looked at him, her heart swelling with gratitude. For the first time in weeks, she felt like she wasn't alone in this fight. Grant wasn't just offering her support, he was standing by her, fighting for her, just as she had hoped. "Thank you," she whispered, feeling the weight of everything she had been carrying lift slightly. Grant smiled, his expression softening. "You don't need to thank me. I believe in you, Emma. I've seen the difference you're making, and no one can take that away from you." As Emma left his office that evening, she felt a renewed sense of determination. She wasn't going to let the whispers and rumors define her. She had worked too hard, sacrificed too much to let anyone push her out of the life she had built. With Grant's support, she knew that she could face whatever challenges lay ahead, and she was ready to prove once and for all that she truly belonged at Carter Enterprises. Asterisk, asterisk. A broke nurse helped a man in rags. Unaware. He's a disguised millionaire in show, up to propose later. Asterisk, asterisk. Hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's continue with Emma's story. In the weeks that followed, the tension at Carter Enterprises seemed to grow even more intense. Despite the unwavering support from Grant, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that the corporate world was becoming increasingly hostile. It was as if every move she made was scrutinized by her colleagues, and the pressure to prove herself intensified. Still, Emma remained determined. She poured herself into her work, continuing to lead the community outreach program with the passion and dedication that had gotten her this far. The program was flourishing, and Emma felt a deep sense of pride in the difference she was making. But with the success of the program came even more resistance from the higher-ups. The whispers in the halls became louder, and Emma couldn't help but feel the weight of the doubt that others were casting on her. There were even rumors circulating that she had only been promoted because of her relationship with Grant. It felt like every step forward she took was met with 2 steps backward. One afternoon, as Emma was working late, she received another call from Grant. This time, his tone was more urgent than before. "Emma, I need to talk to you. It's about the board meeting tomorrow. I don't want you to be blindsided." Emma's heart raced. She had heard rumors about the upcoming meeting, but she didn't know what exactly was at stake. "What's going on?" she asked, her voice tight with anxiety. "There's a faction of the board that's pushing for your removal from the outreach program," Grant said. "They're questioning your qualifications, and there are others who think you're not cut out for this position. They're using the fact that we're close as leverage against you." Emma felt her stomach drop. She had fought so hard to get here, and now it felt like it was all slipping away. "Grant, I don't know what to do," she admitted, her voice trembling. "I've worked harder than anyone. I've given everything I have to this company, and now they're going to take it all away because of something I can't control?" Grant's voice softened, filled with empathy. "I'm not going to let them take anything away from you, Emma. I know how hard you've worked, and I believe in you. But we have to be prepared. The board is powerful, and if they decide to make a move, it could jeopardize everything you've worked for." Emma wiped her eyes, taking a deep breath. She had faced so many obstacles in her life, but this felt different. The idea of losing her place at Carter Enterprises, losing everything she had worked so hard to build, felt like a punch to the gut. "What can I do?" she asked, her voice desperate. "Just keep doing what you're doing," Grant replied. "Stay focused, keep leading the outreach program, and continue to prove that you're capable. I'll do everything I can to support you, but you have to stand strong." Emma nodded, feeling a surge of determination rising within her. She couldn't let these people, these faceless, nameless board members, take away her dream. She had come too far to give up now. The next day, Emma walked into the board meeting with her head held high. Despite the anxiety gnawing at her, she had spent the night preparing, reviewing all the work she had done, and reminding herself of the difference she had made. When the meeting began, Emma could feel the weight of everyone's gaze on her, but she stayed calm. She presented the results of the outreach program with confidence, showcasing the success it had brought to the community. But when the questions began, the attacks started to come subtle at first, but cutting all the same. "How do we know this program is really making a difference?" one board member asked. "What are your qualifications to lead such a large initiative?" Emma took a deep breath, her pulse quickening, but she refused to back down. "I've worked in the healthcare field for years. I've seen the need firsthand. And I've led this program with the full support of the team and the communities we serve," she said, her voice steady. "I believe in this work, and I believe in what we're doing. If you give me the chance, I will continue to prove that I belong here." There was a long silence before Grant spoke up, his voice cutting through the tension in the room. "Emma has shown more dedication and passion than anyone I've seen in this company," he said, "and I will stand by her decision, no matter what. If you want to take this program away from her, you'll have to go through me." The room was still for a moment before another board member spoke. "We'll consider it," they said. Emma could feel the weight of the room shift, and for the first time, she felt like she had gained a small victory. The battle wasn't over, but she had stood her ground, and with Grant by her side, she knew she could face whatever came next. Asterisk. A broke nurse. Helped a man in rags, unaware. He's a disguised millionaire and show up to propose later. Asterisk. Hello, everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's continue with Emma's story. The days after the board meeting were filled with a mixture of tension and relief. The pressure had been immense, but Emma had held her ground. The support from Grant, and the respect she had earned from those who believed in her, kept her focused. Slowly, the whispers in the company began to fade. Her outreach program was making waves in the community, and more importantly, she was proving herself to the people who had doubted her. It wasn't easy, and Emma knew that the road ahead was still filled with obstacles, but she was stronger now. She had learned how to fight not just for the job, but for the recognition she deserved. As her role grew, so did her confidence. She started taking on more responsibilities, stepping up as a leader, not just in the company, but in her community. People were beginning to notice. Grant was always there, offering guidance, but it was clear now that Emma had earned her place, not because of her relationship with him, but because of her own determination and hard work. One evening, as the sun set behind the city skyline, Grant invited Emma to dinner again. This time, it felt different. The tension that had once existed between them had faded, replaced by a quiet understanding. They had come a long way together, and Emma was ready to embrace whatever came next. When they arrived at the restaurant, Grant led her to a private table by the window, overlooking the city. He was quieter than usual, and Emma could sense something was on his mind. As they sat down, Grant looked at her with a mixture of pride and something deeper, something that had been building between them for weeks. "Emma," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "You've shown me more than I ever expected. You've fought so hard to get here, and now, I want to ask you something." Emma's heart skipped a beat. "What's going on?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Grant took a deep breath. "I've spent a lot of time thinking about what matters most to me, and I've realized that, no matter what, I want to be with you. I don't care about the politics of this company, or the gossip, or the rumors. What matters is what we've built together, and I want to continue building that." Emma looked at him, her breath caught in her throat. "Grant, she began, but he gently interrupted her, reaching across the table to take her hand in his. "Will you marry me, Emma?" The words hung in the air, and for a moment, everything around them seemed to disappear. Emma felt a rush of emotions, love, excitement, fear, and hope all at once. She had never imagined this moment would come, but now that it was here, it felt right. She squeezed his hand and smiled, the tears welling up in her eyes. "Yes," she whispered, her voice filled with conviction. "Yes, I will." Grant's face lit up with a smile that could rival the sun, and for the first time in a long time, Emma felt like everything was falling into place. They had both fought for their success, both overcome their doubts and fears, and now, they were ready to face the future together. The road had been difficult, but it had brought them to this moment, a moment of joy and hope for the future. And as they stood together, hand in hand, looking out at the city that had been their battleground and their foundation, Emma knew that this was only the beginning of their journey. Together, they could face anything that came their way. The struggles, the triumphs, the challenges, they would face them all, side by side. And for the first time in her life, Emma was ready to embrace the future with open arms, knowing that love, hard work, and belief in herself had led her to the most beautiful chapter of all. In this captivating story of love, ambition, and self-discovery, follow Emma, a hardworking nurse who unexpectedly crosses paths with a man in rags, unaware that he is a disguised millionaire. As their relationship unfolds, Emma must prove her worth in the corporate world, facing doubts, challenges, and intense scrutiny from her colleagues, who question her place in a world of privilege. With the support of the disguised millionaire, now revealed as a successful CEO, Emma fights to earn her spot in a prestigious company, all while navigating a complex and growing love story. This journey, inspired by real-life struggles, is one of the most inspiring millionaire stories you'll ever hear. As Emma rises through the ranks, her path is filled with obstacles, but the strength she finds in herself, coupled with the love and loyalty of the man who believes in her, pushes her forward. Will Emma overcome the doubts that surround her? Or will the pressures of the corporate world pull her down? This is one of those millionaire stories where love, determination, and courage help a woman discover that she is capable of far more than she ever thought. If you're looking for inspiration and motivation, This story will resonate with you as you discover how Emma and her millionaire partner navigate their way to happiness despite the odds. The twists and turns of their journey are as unpredictable as the world of millionaire stories themselves. But one thing is for sure: love conquers all, especially when you believe in yourself and the support of those who care for you.